Hey there, fellows. So here's the deal. I recently stumbled upon a pretty curious video. From the looks of it, these guys are using building materials to repair a car. Those are construction materials. And hey, who's stopping us from taking this car and making this roof all nice and smooth, even and shiny and what have you? We'll see how it performs and everything. Yeah, let's do this. Roof repair using concrete with durability testing. Translation and voiceover by BMI Russian. Take a look at this. We are looking at a very... Alright, no point hitting it with the props in place. Anyway, we got a nice roof here. We reinforced it, everything is looking good. And I think a good place to start would be to remove the props. The forming to gauge the roof's durability. Oh. And there we are, terrific.
Замечательно. Ну, сейчас уже точно.
Yeah, I think we can safely say that this is some grade A sound deadening.
Офигенная. Держится.
Yeah, seems quite durable. But you can plainly see what condition the whole thing is in. You've got pebbles here and there, dips in a couple of areas. But that's to be expected. But now we have to smoothen everything out. And so let's whip out some plaster and start making this nice and smooth. Well, let's get to it. Check this out, guys. We've got the finished roof right here. And honestly, I can see a few fairly serious defects. I mean, it was cracking, and we had to try a number of things before we finally got this to work. We were using all sorts of sealers and compounds to get this right. But at the moment, it is covered in paint. And it doesn't seem to be getting ripped apart. We put some clear on the paint, and we even got the color to match. It is all looking very good. Yeah, it's quite nice. But we'll draw conclusions later on. Perhaps this could use a polish, what with the slight orange peeliness of the surface. But let's do some durability testing. I'll go for a drive, see what it does, whether any cracks form or not. I mean, so far so good. I don't see any issues. I'm also curious to see how the shell behaves with this sort of roof. Because at the end of the day, the chassis is gonna flex. But let's see what happens with a concrete roof.
Ну, поехали.
Here we go.
Сейчас-то понятно.
Obviously, nothing is going to happen at this stage.
Страшного.
Like,
Да и не страшно.
nothing will.
Так вот. Ага. Пум-пум. Так, ну а что?
Okay, well,
Да ничего,
here we are moving along.
Если бы не вот этот стук,
The only thing unusual is my helmet hitting the concrete.
нормально. Никаких таких
Otherwise, it
вот
doesn't really
ощущений.
feel like anything has
Что-то
changed.
поменялось. Нету. Так. Стекла не
The glass
лопаются.
ain't shattering, nothing is cracking.
Может, только
The only thing that
возможно,
possibly might have changed
потише стало
is that there's less
в
cabin
машине,
noise.
но, возможно, это и
But
не
it might
из-за
not be
этого.
because of, well,
Ага. Ага. Я
going over some bumps,
все кочки. Всё
hitting each and every
собираю.
one.
Ну, изнутри
Everything
всё
seems to be
хорошо.
okay in here.
Ать. Вот специально
So I'm hitting all of
по
these
всем
bumps on purpose.
местам, где
Bumps where the suspension is going to be bottoming out.
подвеску, где не
All of the
ровно,
imperfections
где может кузов как-то
that might
повернуть,
twist the chassis.
завернуть. Всё проезжаю, но всё
And
пока
so far, it
очень
seems to be
неплохо.
holding up just fine.
Прям, блин, это
And
радует.
that is just great.
Так, ну что, смотрим,
Right,
что у
let's go
нас
take a look.
произошло. А вот
Well,
ничего,
nothing has changed
абсолютно.
at all.
Смотрите, как он
That is quite some
зацепился
adhesion
за
to the
металлокаркас,
metal
за
bodywork
кузов
of the car.
автомобиля. Вот, казалось бы, вот
So
просто
this modified
крыша
roof,
достала. Она не передает
It's not
никакой
transmitting
вибрации,
any
ничего
vibration to the
такого,
inside of the car.
в машине
There's less
стало
cabin noise.
В общем, что?
And so if the roof is not susceptible to any sort of damage, to cracking and what have you while the car is driving, this is made of reinforced concrete, so let's do some actual durability testing. Okay, so we have decided to kick this off with a crowbar. Up there we have a guy who's gonna be responsible for the falling, I guess. I mean, he's not gonna be the one to fall, he's gonna be chucking stuff. You ready? Toss it. Hold on, the wind just picked up.
Ох, нифига себе!
That's a good
красиво,
shot, holy
как,
cow.
а? Вот это, да?
Take a
Вот
look
это
at that.
номер. Это был лом.
That was the crowbar. And that is a lot of concrete inside the cabin.
Ну, в принципе, что
But
мы
what did we
ожидали?
expect?
Всё-
This
всё
is all
правильно
pretty much what
получилось.
should have happened.
Отверстие здесь
It's a
небольшое.
small puncture, but there is a lot of damage on the inside.
Смотрите.
So the concrete,
Блин, может быть,
maybe it's about time for manufacturers to consider making cars out of concrete?
Нет, действительно, смотрите.
No, but this is pretty cool,
Если, ну, крыша
because a
стальная,
regular roof made of metal will easily be pierced by this sort of pencil.
спокойно проходит,
It's
даже
barely even gonna put up a
всё
fight.
практически
We know because we actually tried that.
прям пролетает
It just punches right through.
на ура.
But here,
Ну, а здесь
yeah, the concrete has cracked,
но армирование, арматура,
but the rebar used to reinforce this concrete,
железом здесь у нас
in this case, we've set up a sort of grid structure.
и, соответственно,
And as you can plainly see,
она его и остановила.
it stopped the crowbar. Well, the concrete itself also took a lot of the kinetic energy,
Лом с этой задачей,
but at the end of the day, the crowbar couldn't just punch right through.
но не
All it did was pierce the roof.
Не, ну чисто так-то
I mean, if you were to try really hard,
стараться, да нет.
no, the metal is not gonna allow pushing this any further.
Крыша все-таки получила
Yeah, so this did punch a hole all the way through,
в любом случае,
but overall, the roof held up.
она целая, и краска...
If something were to be wrong, we'd know by looking at the paint.
Лопнула, но нигде ничего не лопнуло.
But I
ничего
don't
не
see any evidence of cracking, so
Переходим к другому.
let's throw
инвентарю.
something else.
Ух ты ж, бля, ухо!
Make sure not to fall with it. So what up? Am I in the right position? 1, 2, 3.
Бах! Еще и сверху.
Who said the kettlebell will bust right through?
Ну и вот смотрите,
Okay, so a 16 kilo kettlebell, which I've shifted.
прилетело.
We dropped it onto our concrete roof, and here's the situation.
То, что гиря стоит
Obviously, the kettlebell is on top of it.
здесь, снизу.
Underneath, we have the same sort of effect.
Сверху
And look at that imprint.
у нас. Смотри, какой
It's nice and round,
ровненький, как раз
shaped just like the kettlebell.
гири, а снизу
As for the other side of things, well, it took out a way bigger chunk.
прям очень большой кусок.
I mean, the concrete itself cracked,
А сам бетон, соответственно,
but the metal we used to reinforce it held up all right.
сетка, которой мы его армировали,
It got through this just fine.
опять выдержала всё
Yeah,
это
there's
дело.
quite a bit of broken concrete inside the cabin,
Разломанного. Но
but the metal saved the day.
и здесь сейчас еще что, если
And if you look closely, you'll notice that the bog, the paint, maybe even the concrete, all of it is cracked.
вся потрескалась.
You'll see a crack right here.
И вот столько
So it did a number on the roof.
А пробило,
It took a hit in one spot, but the entire roof is now damaged. You got all of these cracks?
а сзади, смотри.
Let's take a look at the back.
А нет, вот трещина.
Oh yeah, I can see some small cracks back here as well.
Да. Всё-таки
A 16 kilo kettlebell will do that to you.
дело. Но высота здесь
It fell from a height of about 15 meters,
метров получилось. И
so there you go.
что? Смотрите.
But overall, the roof held up.
Прям. А трещины
The
там.
cracks aren't getting any worse,
Самое главное, что оно даже
and it's not even bending.
Вот такая вот,
And there you have it.
замечательная
This
история.
proved to be
Такая
quite
вот
durable.
крепкая.
What an excellent roof.
Крыша получилась
Okay, so this roof turned out pretty well.
такая. Прям при просто
There were no cracks forming on it while I was just driving around.
её не полопалось, но это судя
The obvious reason for that being that it's got reinforcement.
это было армировано. Вот эти все вот
The reinforcement kept it from collapsing.
удержал. Ну и
You can be the judges of how durable this is.
судить сами.
And that's all I got for you. Watch us, subscribe, send in your suggestions, comment, give us a big thumbs up.
У меня на этот счет
And that's it for this video. Catch you guys later.